BTS Festa is like midnight on a birthday, a quiet, powerful moment when one chapter ends and another begins. 0 o'clock captures that exact feeling of reset, reflection, and rebirth. And this is one of the most important rebirths in the history of BTS. Coming from a group hiatus, military enlistment, and successful individual careers, they have evolved as artists and most likely as people too. The dynamics might change and the sound will be different. It is a rediscovery of who they are now and what else they can become. The song also directly speaks to ARMY. In that line, "and you gonna be happy, turn this all around," the lyrics sound like a lullaby to their fans, many of whom found comfort in BTS during their hardest days. Instead of shouting, "You did it," Festa with 0 o'clock softly says, "You're still here, and that's enough. Let's try again." And with that, let's dive deeper into the song 0 o'clock. Key on A major. The song is written in A major. In a music theory and emotional expression, major and minor keys serve as foundational emotional languages. While the nuances can vary based on context, instrumentation, and cultural background, here are the most common emotional uses. Major keys usually communicate joy, hope, and resolution. It's typically used to express uplifting and affirming emotions. They feel bright, resolved, and stable, often used in anthems, celebration, and love songs with a happy ending. Some examples are Dynamite by BTS. It's actually on B major. It radiates upbeat, feel good energy. And then there's Happy by Pharrell Williams. It's actually on F minor, but with a major feel progression and melody. Uses modal mixture but leans toward joyful. And minor keys are mostly used for sadness, vulnerability, and tension. Minor keys are associated with emotional depth. It is used when expressing heartbreak, reflection, and inner conflict. They carry emotional weight and often create a sense of unresolved tension or yearning. Some examples are Spring Day, again by BTS. It's actually on E major with heavy minor mode moments, deeply nostalgic and sorrowful despite moments of hope. The Sound of Silence by Simon and Garfunkel is also on D minor. It's haunting and very, very reflective. The modal interchange. The chord progression A, E, F sharp minor, and D loops repeatedly. The change to F sharp minor in the sixth chord adds a touch of sadness in the middle of an otherwise stable major key loop. As stated in the beginning, a major sounds bright and stable. But if you emphasize F sharp minor chords, the sixth chord, or use melodies that lean into minor intervals, the song starts to feel more melancholic. That's modal shading. Modal shading is a subtle musical technique where a song primarily stays in one key, like A major, but hints at or borrows emotional color from another mode. Usually, it's parallel minor. It's like painting in mostly bright colors, that's like the major, but occasionally brushing in some shadows, which is like the minor. It adds emotional complexity without fully changing the key. In this song, they're not really leaving A major, meaning they're not really letting go of the brightness and the hope, but they're also letting minor mode emotions creep in. By doing this, the song continues to communicate hope, but colors it with sadness, mirroring the lyrics. And that leads us to the next portion. Casual poetry. The song is written using everyday speech, which makes it more relatable. The song begins with small, ordinary observations. Days when you're sad for no reason. This opening line is deceptively simple but universal. RM is so good at this. The song uses plain language to express deep emotional truths, mirroring the way people naturally speak to themselves when they're struggling. It's internal, almost diary like. Phrases like, was it my fault? Why? Repeat the natural circular rhythm of anxious thoughts. This creates a stream of consciousness style, no different from how we think when we are alone with our thoughts. There isn't always a progressive rhythm. Sometimes we just go in circles. The poetic contrast. The lyrics, my heart gets crumpled, and like that snow that settled on the ground, a crumpled hearts evoke vulnerability, and freshly fallen snow suggests both stillness and renewal. This is a poetic contrast of beauty and coldness, fitting for the midnight reset. And then there's the line, when the second hand and the minute hand overlap. The world holds its breath for a very brief moment. This is one of the most striking poetic devices in the song. It turns a mechanical event, clock hands aligning, into a symbolic pause, a breath, a chance to reset emotionally, even when in reality, hands aligning is a sign of a new round. The cycle begins again. It's a beautiful personification, the world holding its breath. It evokes hope without grand gestures, just a moment of stillness before a new beginning. Repetition as emotional reassurance. The repeated lines, and you're gonna be happy, it works like a mantra, not just a wishful thinking, but self soothing. The repetition mimics how someone might convince themselves to keep going, especially when they don't fully believe it yet. It also functions musically and emotionally to guide the listener out of the melancholic verses into something quietly uplifting. The lyrics are cyclical. And sometimes it really mimics the kind of emotions that we feel, right? We start with one thing and then we go to another and then jump to another emotion. And even though we want to progress, sometimes we just feel like we need to go back to the first one again. So in this one, we start in despair and exhaustion, and then reflection and resignation. And at the end, there is quiet hope and prayer. The song doesn't promise a miracle. Instead, it suggests that survival is enough for now, and midnight is a small, sacred restart. While this song comes to an end, a new song will begin. This line isn't just about the music, it's life itself. Each day is a song, and you get to try again tomorrow. The tempo and measure. The tempo is 80 BPM and the time signature is 4 over 4. It is medium tempo, slow enough to feel introspective but steady enough to provide a sense of forward momentum, mirroring the message of moving into a new day. This is reinforced by the time signature, 4 beats per minute. It gives the song a steady, calm pulse, almost like a heartbeat or the ticking of a clock, which fits the theme of time, waiting, and emotional reset. The slow tempo makes each beat feel heavy and contemplative, emphasizing the weight of everyday sadness, but the regular 4 beat cycle mirrors the monotony of difficult days, but also the consistency of time moving forward, reinforcing the emotional arc. This day will end, and a new one will begin. The time signature and slow progression mimic the dragging feeling of a hard day, but the even pacing reminds the listener that the time continues to move forward. So while the song doesn't do anything rhythmically complex, the 4 beats per measure time signature plays a critical emotional role by grounding the listener in the rhythm of everyday life. Until at midnight, even that rhythm pauses. And let's go to vocal arrangement. This is one of the rare BTS songs exclusively sang by the vocal line. Jungkook represents the vulnerability in a breathy tone, setting the reflective mood. And then Jimin's soft falsetto adds fragility. Jin brings in warmth, grounding the verses, and V's deep, textured voice adds weight and maturity. The contrast of their timbres is strategically layered to convey the emotional progression from sadness to surrender to calm to hope. Technically, Zero O'Clock is deceptively simple. Minimalist in instrumentation, but rich in emotional dynamics, in chordal resonance, in vocal texture. But what else can you expect from four of the best vocalists in South Korea? The structure and the production actually mirror the emotional arc of feeling exhausted, broken, but also holding on to that quiet, almost naive hope that tomorrow is going to be better. That subtle optimism is not just layered in the lyrics, but also in it is embedded in the chord progression, in the tempo, and in the layering techniques of the song. Um, Another thing is the poetry. It isn't loud, it's actually very simple, but also that's what makes it very, very relatable. It's just emotionally mature, I guess, or emotionally intelligent. It doesn't demand healing, it doesn't promise healing, it doesn't even talk about healing. It simply offers a space to pause and to breathe and to begin again, which is in itself a poetic form of self-love. And it is no wonder BTS chose this as a theme for their 2025 Festa. This is a crossroad in their career as a group and also in their individual careers. This is where they begin again. After the success of the first chapter, after their military service, and after the success of their individual careers, it is very exciting to find out who they're going to become and what they can achieve. All right, I would love to hear your thoughts. Leave them in the comment section below. As always, you can say whatever it is that you want to say. Just please do so respectfully. Also, please follow me on X, on Instagram, but more importantly, on Patreon. There are a lot of conversations going in there, not just about BTS, but also Asian movies, Asian TV shows, books, and sometimes we just joke around. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification button. And share the video if you can. That's really helping my channel. Thank you so much. Till next time.